together by myself and 5 of my good friends who I've been climbing with since I started climbing about 1.5 years ago. We saw an article in Rock and Ice magazine. I had been going to Puerto Rico every year since I was 1 year old, actually, because my grandma lives there during the winter. She has this nice beach house in Rincon, which is on the west coast. Slowly we found out where we would camp, where we would climb, how much the things would cost, how we could manage to rent a car. And then right before we went, we met 2 other people, Taylor and Amanda we didn't know at the time, but Taylor brought Amanda along. You know, something that started as an idea one morning when we all woke up at some party hungover and tired and just feeling horrible. You know, we just started throwing the idea around, and no one thought it was going to happen, but it did, and that was pretty cool.
I love Puerto Rico. I had a wonderful time there. The general atmosphere and aesthetic qualities of Puerto Rico were top notch, I would say. Like the jungle in particular, I've never really been in an environment such as that one. But I'm very used to being in the woods, so I spend most of the time in the woods really. But to be in the woods where there's like dangers that you're not used to, like the trees have big thorns on them everywhere, so you're like trying to hold on to stuff and there's roots on the ground, and then you like grab a tree and you're like, fuck! Like my hand's been sliced open. Since when did trees have thorns? This is something that I've got to deal with now.
Ah! Like cornered. Fuck you, spiders. Here. This way.
And then like when we were climbing, there were like frogs jumping out at us from holes, and like lizards everywhere. So, I mean, it was fun. They created an entertainment. I tried to catch lizards multiple times, failed, but I did get a little bit of its tail once, and immediately felt very guilty about that. I thought I've caused this lizard problems, pain, and potential disaster, future disaster.
For spring break, a bunch of us from the rock climbing club, we all went to Puerto Rico to Alex Barganier's grandma's house in Rincon, Puerto Rico. It's the farthest I'd ever been from home the first time, like actually going on spring break. And I had actually just started rock climbing, so I thought it'd be a really great experience and a great first time to actually like get outdoors on the rock outside instead of being inside. And yeah, it's just me. I invited my friend, and then it was Alex, Christopher, Sarah, Juliana, Spencer's girlfriend Stevie, and Ian. This is all 9 of us.
So the climbing in Puerto Rico was about 15 minutes away from San Juan in a town called Bayamon, and there was this national park, and it was about a 15-minute approach up to the crag, and there were about, I believe, 12 different areas at the crag.
Huh? Yeah, you want it? Yeah. Okay.
The rock was really interesting, especially from a climber's perspective, because, I mean, it's very beautiful. It's like most often described as melted wax, I believe, by climbing articles and such. So if you imagine a candle and the wax that drips down on the top, that was what the whole wall of rock looked like. And so, I mean, it was good in the sense that there were lots of big handles to hold on to, and you never really felt like you were going to fall off it. And if you got into a little bit of trouble, you could sometimes just stick your whole arm into a wall and just like puff and pant until you were ready again.
Flipping! You got it, buddy. Nice.
The climbing wasn't too difficult. I mean, you can see in all the footage that we got that, you know, a lot of the time we were going very slowly. It almost looked we're going at a snail's pace. Only one route I fell off of, and that was a 510C, and I fell at around the third clip, or the third or fourth bolt I fell, and I took two big whippers actually, but Chris did a great job belaying me. I was caught maybe 5 feet from the ground, so it was a nice whipper, but it was safe. When you take falls like that, you don't really have much time to think about it until you're on the ground, because it all happens so fast. But the first one I took, I was laughing, and I just felt very full of adrenaline. The only response I really had was just, rubbing Chris's head and like yelling or something. I was just sort of ecstatic. The second time though, I was a bit more focused, because now I knew I'd fallen off this climb and I was determined to finish it, and I fell in the same spot. And the second fall, I was a little disappointed in myself.
Yeah, it was a really good experience. And as far as rock climbing for me goes, I did my first lead climb, and I thought I did pretty decent. And it was a lot of fun. I definitely liked it more than bouldering. It's more of a challenge, and I got the hang of it pretty quick. I definitely need to keep practicing, but I did really enjoy my time, and it's really nice to. It was good to keep learning. Everybody was just learning from one another. At least I was. I don't know. We all had a good time.
There we go, we need to have long arms.
Okay, ready?
Touch it a little bit.
What's going on here?
I don't know.
You just like.
It's so awkward because it's a video.
It doesn't matter. Everyone, 1, 2, 3, it's a picture. 1, 2, 3, it's another picture. A third picture's coming.